What over-the-counter medicines should you have in your home, in your prepper's pantry, to make sure you are safe? We have a homestead and we raise a lot of herbal medicine on farm, but there's good over-the-counter medicines that we also keep in very much of a stockpile. Also, we're going to talk about one bonus at the very end, so stay tuned for that too. We're going to be talking about some of the most important over-the-counter medicines that you could pick up today. And by having these things, when everything goes crazy, when a crisis comes, when all of a sudden everybody runs to Walmart or the grocery store and to try to buy all the things they need, not only do we need food, not only do we need supplies, we need over-the-counter medicines to get us through some tough times that we may just have the sniffles and we need to be taken care of. We're going to be talking about some of those things today. So today's video is going to be a good one, and it starts right now. First and foremost, we want to thank you for being here with the Max. If you're new to our channel, please go down here, press subscribe, ring the bell so you always know what's going on. Now, if you're new to the Max and kind of want to know who we are, we've got some old vlogs, but look in our playlist. There's a lot of playlists that are focused on, if you're new here, check these videos out. If you want to go back and see some of the old vlogs, there's some old vlogs in there about our family. Also, we have some things like the stockpiles and the food pantries and the prepper and survival information that you need to make sure that you are always ready for natural disasters, but also economic collapse. It's always good to be prepared and ready. So today's video is going to be about over-the-counter medicines. We're going to talk about some of the things that we stockpile here on the farm in our sustainable pantries to make sure that we are taken care of. And if we have just the littlest of sickness, we want to get well. So let's talk about some of those right now. Number one would be Benadryl. We stockpile Benadryl. You can do the off brands like, you know, from Walgreens, the Waldrill, or you can do the allergy relief, some of the Equate brands, but ultimately you need to make sure you have a form of Benadryl in your home. For us, it could be used for so much. Say for instance, you have rashes. So you have the sniffles, or you have allergy issues that are flaring up this time of year. You have some kind of like swelling in your face or swelling on your body. Or like for instance, us, we own bees. So we have had spots where we've had some good swelling and not quite cellulitis or not so much of causing a major anaphylactic shock, but just some spots that just needed some attention. This is not a number two because this is a prescription base, but if you have allergy issues and Benadryl can't seem to help you there, I would not only say have Benadryl, but have an EpiPen. Get a prescription for an EpiPen. There are some companies that do sell EpiPens online. Also, you can talk to a local nurse practitioner or doctor. Pretty much if you have allergies, you can get your access to an EpiPen. They can be kind of pricey if your insurance doesn't cover it. For us, we have to pay out of pocket, but it's good to have, especially if you have an allergy or swelling issues that Benadryl can't help. For instance, with us owning bees, as I said, it's good for us to have an EpiPen because our kids, even though we've not had issues with you know, major anaphylaxis or major swelling or major allergic reactions, it's good just to have for safety, for security, because you never know when you might need it. We're going to say Dulcolax is number two, and then we're going to say Imodium is number three. Nobody likes stomach issues one way or the other. You don't want to be hurting to where you can't use the restroom. So for instance, I think about prepping, I think about survival, I think about our diets change. When you have a major diet change, it can really affect your digestive system. So if you're having issues from one way to where you can't go to another way where you can go and you can't stop, dehydration on one side or stomach cramping and your stomach just in knots, both of those things are not healthy and they cannot be productive for you. In a situation where we always want to make sure that we are, you know, on our game, make sure that we are doing everything we can to take care of our families, having issues with stomach cramping and not having any way to use the restroom, to having, you know, massive loads of diarrhea to where you can't control and you get dehydrated. Both of those things are very bad for you. So you need to make sure you have number two and three, which would be Dulcolax and Imodium. Both of those are very good to have on hand, just like the Benadryl. Number four is like a knockout, is NyQuil. I don't personally take NyQuil. It actually kind of scares me because we're not used to taking anything really over the counter or prescription if we don't have to. We try to lean back on our herbal remedies and our superfoods. But NyQuil, say for instance you feel like you got the cold or a flu, or you feel completely incapacitated, you're sick, NyQuil pretty much will knock you out for the night and make you feel better in the morning. A lot of people take this. It's almost like a knockout over-the-counter drug. You need to make sure you have some on hand just in case. If you're so sick to where you don't think you can swing a cold or a flu or whatever you're having with respiratory, I think NyQuil would be a good thing to have. Number 5 would be such as a Tylenol, Aleve, Excedrin, any kind of acetaminophen, anything like a true pain reliever. Now I wouldn't say you need to be taking these all the time. We need a little pain. Our body needs to go, and that's what is actually healing our body. That's like fever. Sometimes fever is good. Sometimes pain's good. It's telling us that it's healing. So you got to get over some of that anyway. I'm not saying take any of this medicine for just a common headache or a common cold. I really think we need to let our bodies work against these sicknesses and these fevers or anything that we're going on, these little pains, to get through it. But if it's intolerable and it comes to a point where you've got to have help, having Tylenol, having Aleve, having some kind of acetaminophen, when I'm milking at 4 o'clock in the morning, if all of a sudden I wake up and I feel like my head's about to explode, I either got to work through it or I've got to take something. By having that there, it just allows me to go throughout the day knowing that I've got to get on the farm and work or do whatever I've got to do for the day to make sure that we can be productive. Number 6 would almost go along with number 5, but it would be an aspirin or a baby aspirin. It can help relieve a lot of the pain that you're going through. However, now consult your doctors for sure, but it also can be a blood thinner, and a lot of people who have heart issues are on some kind of little regimen for aspirin or baby aspirin. It's good to have on hand. We keep some on hand. To be honest with you, I've never had to take it, but it's good to have. We keep them in supply. A lot of these things also can be used as a great bartering tool. Not that you want to deal with someone's health or jeopardize someone's health, but when we get into a situation where we're in a collapse or catastrophe situation, if we have some of these things, you never know who it could help, and you could help barter and get something that you're needing as well. But aspirin would be number 6. It kind of goes along with number 5, just like number 2 and 3 did. We need to make sure we have it just for painkiller, but not only that, just in case we're having some heart issues and our doctor puts us on this regimen, by having some stockpiled that we could keep in our bodies if we're needing to, especially after we consulted our doctors. Number 7 would be key. That reminds you, not really on the doctor side, but maybe on the dentistry side, would be some kind of tooth relieving gel. I think of Orajel, something that would help you. If you have a mouth or toothache, and you know this, if you've had cavities or you've had a root canal done before, anything that you're having an issue with, an abscess, you need to get it taken care of for sure. You need to go to the dentist and make sure that you are getting that tooth taken care of, because it can make you very, very sick or ill. But say it's on a weekend, say it's a night, say you're in a situation where there's a disaster and you can't get to a dentist. Maybe the dentist is just closed. Having Orajel would be key, because it can definitely give you that numbing effect in your mouth to get you through that day, that night, that weekend, or that disaster situation until you can get to a doctor. It doesn't actually have to be the name brand Orajel. I don't care. Just get some kind of tooth or gum numbing or relieving medicine that's just a gel you can place on your gums, place right there on the edge of your tooth, and it will make a world of difference, at least to get you maybe through the day. Number 8 would be Lidocaine. Just like the numbing medicine for your mouth like Orajel, Lidocaine would be for the exterior skin. You cannot buy some forms of Lidocaine without having a prescription, but there are versions, and we shared the one that we personally have. We showed it to you in our medical video, so I'm gonna link the medical supply video below. But you can buy Lidocaine like Aspirin, you know, really at your local Walgreens or Walmart or wherever you're buying your typical groceries. Buy it over the counter to have. A typical burn or a cut or a scrape, if it's the spray, the cream, whatever it is, it can help numb the pain for a bit. Again, if it's really bad, then you need to get somewhere, but say it's just a simple burn. We've had our kids maybe touch, you know, a hot pan. Things happen. I've had a time where we were at the we were trying to get meat out of the smoker, and it just got really hot, and kind of where my glove was, it kind of burned me right there. It was just good to have a little Lidocaine spray to be able to place on it. And just, we have the spray kind and also the little gel, kind of like the little tube, kind of looks like a little thing of toothpaste. So we have that we can rub on us. So we are always outside, and we go through the weeds, we go through these trees. I just moved these cows, and you know, everything hits you. There's times that I get bites, or there's times that we get little, you know, if we get into poison ivy or we get into some kind of something that reacts to our skin. Well, like the Benadryl, like having the EpiPen, like having things like the Lidocaine, having some kind of hydrocortisone cream is key. So number 9 would be hydrocortisone cream. There has been so many times that we've just had abrasions or we've had little rashes, or our kids would be playing in the woods while we were moving animals and they would just get a little rash on them. Having that helps take away the itch. It gets their mind off of it. Also helps me. I'm the same way. If we're going through the woods, especially in the summer where it's hot, you know, I don't have the long sleeve on. If I get a rash or something, just to have that little cream to where it does not allow me to have to focus and itch and scratch, and to where I'm opening my skin because I'm scratching it so much. Same way with kids. It's just, it just allows us to have an ease. Again, as I said, we are not wanting to say use all these medicines and have them and you use them every time you get a little, you know, flea bite or every time you have a little sniffle. But it's good to have them just in case you do need them. I would always say in case of emergency. Now, my emergency may be different than your emergency. So make this list that's more customizable to you. Hydrocortisone cream, like all the other things that we talked about, because we live on a farm, because we live in kind of a very rural area, we run into a lot of spider webs, we run into a lot of poison ivy, poison oak. We're outside. So some of this list may not pertain to you, but some of it could be very good. Hydrocortisone cream, all these other things can be bought pretty cheaply. I would have some. It comes in a tube, kind of like the Aspirin, kind of like the Orajel. Looks like a little bottle of toothpaste. Just put it on you. It's very good to have and kind of helps the rash not itch, so you're not making it worse, but also helps it go away. Number 10 would be Neosporin. Now, Neosporin is really big here. Now, we don't use a lot of the other things that we talked about in this video. We just don't. We try not to put anything in our bodies or on our bodies that's not natural. However, we have all of these things in stock for safety. But number 10 would be Neosporin. This is something we do use a lot more than the rest. If we do have a minor cut or abrasion, now Misty makes a salve that is a homemade Neosporin. We make that and we use that more than we use true Neosporin. We have a video on that. It's an old video. I will link it below. It's just a minor cut salve. We put it on a cut, we'll be able to put a band-aid on it. Again, we're outside a lot. We don't want anything to get infected or to have more issues with a cut, or maybe the kids have itched an ant bite and it's gotten somewhat kind of nasty and open more. Well, we don't want it to get any worse. Neosporin is a great, just a little antibiotic ointment that you can buy over the counter. We stockpile a lot of Neosporin. I think it's really good to have. Having a name brand version of all these over the counter medicines is not a necessity. If you like those, fine, buy those. But there's generic and off brands to all of these medicines, and none of these will break the bank. So we want to make this video that shows there's ways that you can kind of take care of yourself, even if you're not like us where you're raising and foraging. Say you live literally to where you can't go outside and, you know, pick your forest full of all these herbal remedies and start making tinctures. That's okay. If you don't have herbs or superfoods to utilize, have this list and buy these things and put them up, stockpile them with the rest of your preppers supplies, and it's good to have. Check out our hygiene and our medical video. We'll link those below. They're a few months ago, but they're lists just like this, and they are key to have. Very, very good to stockpile those things too. So I'm gonna link those below. Now, bonus, one more thing I want to talk about. We are affiliated with Jace Medical. Now, you don't have to buy anything if you don't want to, but we love having an antibiotic supply on hand. Check out our link for Jace Medical. If you don't want to spend $200 or $300 on having antibiotics in your home, that's fine. But if you notice the last 2 years, there was times you could not go to your doctor and get a prescription filled. There was times you could not sign up for telehealth and all of a sudden go through all the rigmarole of trying to get online to be able to get what you needed. Having some antibiotics at home is essential, and it is key. So we have our Jace Medical Supply antibiotics along with these over-the-counter medicines. So number 11, or the bonus to this, would be check out Jace Medical. If you have the funds to spend $200 or $300, it would be wise to have a set of antibiotics just for survival and safety, to whereas all of a sudden something happens and you need to use an antibiotic, you don't have to run to a doctor or to a pharmaceutical and try to get it. So it's good to have, and I check those out. Now, if you've been a part of this video for this long, thank you so much for being here. We hope that you enjoy our content. The prepper list, from the survivalship, from the homesteading side of it, but also some of the current events that's going on. Let us know what you think about this video. Give us a thumbs up, thumbs down. Just tell us what you think about it, and hey, give us some ideas. I love reading your comments because maybe there's another one that you would add to this top 10. Let us know below. We would love to add it ourselves, and also hopefully we'll help other people gain wisdom to getting over-the-counter medicines before it's too late. Guys, thank you so much for watching. God bless. Happy homesteading, y'all.
Promise nobody can get in their way or steal the show. They're in love now, and I wanted you to know.